Hello everybody and welcome back for another Smash or Pass video where I break down all the VR games that I recently played and give you my first impressions. I'm Mateo311, joined by Cosmo the Dog, and this is your channel for everything VR related. So today is going to be a pretty quick video. I've been excessively busy with this new guy, and I've also been doing a lot of demos for unreleased games that I can't talk about yet. So on today's list we have Kid Pilot, MudRunner VR, the new Population One Phoenix Royale, and maybe I'll mention Silent Slayer. I wish I could talk about Behemoth, but that's still embargoed, so we'll be talking about that next week. And let's not waste any more time. There are, of course, links and timestamps if you want to skip ahead, but before we jump in, this video is sponsored by my daddy. Make sure to subscribe. If you want to support him, there's Patreon and other subscriptions and all that stuff. But yes, thank you. Bye. Okay, so today's first title is Kid Pilot, and I have to say this game definitely surprised me. It's extremely charming and actually quite beautiful. If you're not familiar with this game, you're basically holding a little airplane in your hand and it operates kind of like a platformer. You're going to be flying around through obstacles, looking for hidden stuff. You have to shoot some objects. There might be some enemies. Ultimately, it's really cool, very casual, not much of a challenge at all, but it's fun and it's got great music and it definitely sucked me in. So it's immersive, but again, I will say, not the style of game I gravitate towards. You know, it's very kid friendly. It's kid in the name, but at the same time, you know, I like my mature theme stuff. VR surprised me time and time again how a casual title or just something charming has sucked me in. This is along those lines. I don't love it as much as like Moss or Astrobot, but it's really fun. If you have any interest in it, I do recommend you check it out. Like I said, that music's awesome. It sucks you right in. I was acting like a kid going around my room like, you know, like a little idiot. So ultimately, very solid game. I do recommend you check it out. Just probably a pass for me because I don't think I'm going to go back and play through the whole game, only because there's a list of other titles that I just rather play before it. But if this is your genre, your style, yes, definitely put it on the Smash list. Now moving on to our next game. I've pretty much covered all of these in long form videos. So our next title is going to be Silent Slayer. The game's not out yet. I've only been able to cover the first 3 levels for you guys. I will have another video up next week. So I'll put up last week's video and talk about what's coming up next week. But basically, this is like the most deadly game of Operation. It's a horror themed version of Operation where you are breaking into a series of vampire coffins and you have to do things like take out nails very silently, remove locks and latches, and if you make too much noise, you wake up the vampire and it's jump scare hell. Now, ultimately, you might think this is too scary to play. No, it's got that perfect level. It just keeps you slightly on edge. The jump scares come, I laugh more than I like scream. Like they definitely get you good, but then 2 seconds later, you're laughing about it because it's fun. Now, mechanically, I think the game works really well. You know, sometimes you're doing things like Operation, gotta like clip little things. Other times you just gotta be very delicate and slow, and it gets progressively harder and harder. And ultimately, like the entire immersiveness and ambiance is done extremely well. The voice acting of the book that's basically teaching you how to kill these vampires is fantastic. Game sucked me in. It's fun. If you enjoyed something along the lines of I Expected to Die, I expect you to enjoy this also. Just, you know, it's got a different theme. It's a little bit darker. It's not as quirky. It's got a little bit of quirk to it, but it's definitely not quirky like I Expected to Die. Definitely not as fun like that. And it's not an escape room. It's more a level of just how delicate can you be. If you want to see more about that game, make sure to subscribe, turn notifications on, because I will have one more video up. And boom, I'll post the link to the previous video so you could see me jump out of my chair and start kicking in the air, basically. That did happen. You don't believe me? Go back and check it. Okay, so next up is MudRunner VR, and I also did some sponsored content for them. I just showed off some gameplay. Now I'll talk a little bit more about my impressions of this game. If you're not familiar with it, it's a trucking sim. You're going to jump into a whole bunch of different trucks, drive them around. There is a story mode, which I like to describe as almost like rags to riches. Not really, but you go from like driving around a jalopy, picking up some gas, doing some really mundane or mediocre tasks, and then eventually you're going to support people in a storm and tow people out of the mud and, you know, bigger and bigger tasks. It falls into that type of game like Lawn Mowing Simulator or Power Wash Simulator, where it's basically just recreating a real life thing, something that people don't tend to get to do in their life. Like there's plenty of people who will never get on a lawnmower. There's plenty of people who will never power wash. Ton of people who will never drive trucks around and pull people out of the mud. And now you get to experience it. It's like a very niche desire. You know, it's like a childhood fantasy. Ooh, I want to drive a truck. And some people still have that desire as they're older. And also what has been explained to me, because I never understood these types of games, these real life simulating games where I look at them like as a job or a chore, and why would I play that? Well, they are a perfect time to kind of just zone out, have a little fun, not worry about things, not have like excessively difficult mechanics or this extreme challenge in front of you. It's just like you want to zone out and play something that fills your time, makes you feel pretty good, pretty happy, and just move on. And that's what MudRunner VR is. Again, I know people get annoyed when I say, not my style of game. But, you know, like I said, I got to be honest with you guys, definitely not my style. I probably wouldn't go back to that. I've never really fallen in love with that type of game. I think the games you fell in love with when you were younger, up until like your teens and 20s, are pretty much the genres you love forever. Now, there will be exceptions outside of that, and I did find a lot of fun in this. I think quality-wise, it's a really good game. It looked great on the Quest 3. I was surprised there. Once the game opens up, I said wow every time. Kind of sucked me right in. Mechanics are great. The only frustration or little annoyance there is, I don't understand why, but when you're outside of the car, it's teleportation only. I just don't understand why they didn't implement free locomotion. I checked the settings 1,000 times, and if it's there, I cannot find it. So it's just really weird to see that, but you're outside of the car so infrequently that it just really didn't matter to me, but that was weird. But let's move on to our final game, another one that I absolutely loved. This one is a smash for me, and that is the changes for Population One, the new Phoenix Royale gameplay mode that's coming. So if you're not familiar with Population One, it's VR's most popular battle royale title. I know a lot of people are in love with Contractor Showdown right now, but it's still undeniable that this is the most popular battle royale game. And they made a new mode, which is designed to just get a lot more noobs in, be a little bit less competitive, more friendly all around, a little bit quicker, and less forgiving when it comes to things like death. Honestly, I loved all the changes. I did full coverage on this, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time, but the Cliff Notes version is, in a normal battle royale, you'll spend a ton of time looking around for equipment, try and find the best stuff, maybe go camp out the end zone, and then try and win, trying to take home the win. If you die along the way, you have your team to revive you, but that's it. Well, now it's completely changed up. If you die, you will spawn right back into the game as long as you don't team wipe right away. So as long as your team stays alive long enough, you will drop back in. Now the redeployment time gets longer and longer, and eventually it's cut off. It's smaller. It wants you to engage and just fight a lot more and get back in there. And I've heard in like play testing, they've taken professional players, the players with like the top scores and top of the charts, and put them against people who are a lower skill level, and it bridged the gap a bit. The changes definitely make it more of just like this interactive, you don't really know what's going to happen. It's not all skill level. It's a little bit more chaos, and the fact that you keep coming back in just changes the whole flow. And like I said, it's more my tempo, more my speed. I really don't gravitate towards battle royales because I grew up on arena shooters, which are just extremely fast paced. It's like, you know, a kill every 15 seconds. That's what it was back then. It was just nonstop. I'd have sweaty palms and sweat pouring down my head and 140 heart rate just playing an arena shooter. So it's definitely a different pace. It's not that now, but it's closer. It's a lot more fun. It's noob friendly. I love it. If you want more information, check out my full coverage. And that was today's video. I know it was a little bit different. I didn't have much new to show off. I'm just talking about games that I did. But you guys have seemed to like the Smash or Pass series. I want to keep it going. It's been a lot of fun. If you are enjoying it, I'd love to hear your feedback. If there's other games I didn't get to, let me know what you want to see me cover. It's been rough because I just got a puppy. I've had him for 6 days, but I will be back into the normal flow soon enough. Things will be good. So let me know what I should cover. Let me know what you thought about this video and the whole Smash or Pass format. and I'll see you guys on next time. Don't forget one of those. Peace out.